Hi, my name is Tommy Newman. I'm from Morristown, Tennessee. I was a little different. I was different than everybody else in town. Started using drugs at a really early age. I was considered a junkie at the age of 14. At the age of 21, I was manager of a liquor store in Tennessee. And so I had a ton of friends then, and all along then in the office, I'd count the money, thousands of dollars every day, and I was shooting up drugs in the office while I was doing that. While I was managing the liquor store, I always carried a pistol because going back and forth to the bank every day with deposits of $10, $11, $12,000, it's hard to imagine trusting a junkie with $10 or $11,000 cash every day, but they didn't know. So I was putting the gun down in the front of my pants like I normally do, and it went off and shot me. Shot me right here in the stomach, came out my back, went to the paneling of the wall. And I remember waking up a couple of days after the surgery from the gunshot wound, and there was a man at the foot of my bed kneeling, praying, and I had no idea who he was, but in a town that small, somebody gets shot, word gets out pretty quick. And he was praying for God to intervene to save my life, and he did. That was one of the first real miracles God performed in my life. But I didn't give the credit to him at the time. I was like, wow, I'm Superman. I'm invincible. You know, I can get away with anything. I knew who God was. I didn't know God, but I knew the name. And so, you know, it was just a matter of time it was going to catch up with me, and I just didn't know when. I'd gotten laid off from a really good government job. I'd made, I don't know, probably $40,000, $50,000 in 90 days. And I went on a binge, and I met some Hispanic guys. And next thing I know, I'm driving to Mexico and back, bringing drugs back in the United States. It was a really dangerous job in a really dangerous area. They killed Americans in Mexico at that time with the cartel at war. They were killing Americans at will. To leave that lifestyle, the only way you were getting out was to get busted or get killed. You just didn't quit. And I knew I was somebody I'd never meant to be. I became really ruthless. People were scared of me. I was constantly carrying guns, and people knew who I worked for, and they were terrified. And my family had protection. When I was in Mexico, I mean, my wife and 2 children, my daughter, my son, go to Walmart, and somebody speak to them, and these Hispanic guys would come out of nowhere. You know, hey, you don't need to be talking to her. It got that. I got that big in their eyes, I guess you could say. You would think I would be happy. I was driving Mercedes and Lexus and BMWs, and had 4 or 5 women at my disposal at any time. And I got addicted to the lifestyle, to the chaos. The drugs had actually stopped working because I was constantly in fear. Fear of going to jail or going to hell. And I didn't like jail, so I knew I wouldn't go like hell. But I was constantly in fear. I was depressed a lot. I smiled constantly with a mask on. Constant. It was a fake smile. And I just knew that was going to be the day. And in a way I was welcoming, in a way I was scared, going to prison. But I get to the border, to the customs, and for the first time they searched my car. I get up to the checkpoint, and the dog gets on the car. The dog starts barking. I'm like, oh no. They stayed at it, and they finally took a cut torch and opened part of the firewall up behind the motor and found 4.5 kilos of high-grade methamphetamine. Had $135,000 in cash under the seat, rolled up in rubber bands, pistols, you name it. And that's when they said the United States of America placed you under arrest. It was over. That chapter in my life was closed. And I tell people today that God showed up in my life wearing a Border Patrol uniform. So I was sent over to the federal holding facility until they transferred me to the federal prison. So anyway, the guards take me out. I'm thinking they're taking me to the doctors or nurses or something, some kind of visit. And they took me to a little room. They gave me extra pizza and chicken, offered me some other special favors. They said, "We know who you are. You're TBD Chief. You work for a friend of ours. What do you need? Special favor? We'll do it for you, anything for you." And I said, "Yeah, I'd like to have a Bible." And that floored me. So they next couple of days, they bring me this little snap closed Bible. Yeah, a little snap on it, small enough where they could sneak it into me. Gave it to me, and I snuck it in my cell, and I started reading. And I was reading on how you pray. I mean, I knew all this. And so I got saved on the concrete floor of the federal holding facility in Laredo, Texas. 28 days, I get a phone call. They called me up front for a phone call from my attorney. And he says, "I got good news for you." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "The federal government's decided to drop the charges." And man, I was ecstatic because I can't believe it. God has delivered me from this. I got out and I had two phone numbers. I had a guy named Marcelo, which was a high-ranking cartel member, and I had this pastor's number from the church inside the prison. I get up to the payphone, I'm shaking like a leaf. I'm like, "Oh, who do I call? Who do I call?" Oh. And I called the pastor. First good decision I made for Tommy. First good decision I made for my wife and children. And so he kept me with him. He bought me a bus ticket back home to Knoxville, or outside of Knoxville, back home to Morristown. And gave me $50 to eat on the way. And I'll never forget it. He walked me on to the bus. And he said, "I love you." He said, "But I hope I never see you again." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because if you're in Laredo, Texas, I know you're up to no good. Nothing good comes from Laredo." My life has changed drastically. I don't look over my shoulder anymore. I'm not worried about being robbed. My children are, wow. Let me tell you, my children lived through this, and my daughter is now in law school at Ole Miss. And my son has a pilot license. I mean, these children, they belong to God to start with. He just entrusted me to take care of them. I didn't do a very good job to start with, but they're back in my life, and wow, that's my life has changed. I mean, I had lost everything, but God has restored so many things in my life. I get through things a little better now. I don't panic. I don't pull guns. I don't pull weapons. I don't threaten. I know how to get things through a little better with some prayer, supplication, and just knowing that God's got this. My wife got to be the biggest part of my testimony. We hooked up and we've been married now. We just celebrated our 27th wedding anniversary last week. And she went through that vortex with me. And we both came out the other side together. Now, that's not supposed to happen in today's age. It's rare people stay married, even though they haven't went through what I did. She walked in the darkness with me. She saw everything I went through. She stood in the background most of the time, and just watched me self-destruct. But my wife, and she's never left my side in the hospital. She helped God save my life a few times. My wife is everything to me. She's a powerhouse. And so I get through things better like that. I've learned to give back what was so freely given to me. experienced strength and hope in drug addiction and music and things like that. I have people in my life now that God has just put so many people in my path, and now I recognize them. See, before I was moving so fast, I went by so many blessings, there's no telling how many blessings I passed up. But now, I live so fast, I lived hard, I lived to die. But now I'm learning to live slow. My name is Tommy Newman, and Jesus saved me from the bowels of hell.